What up? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the movie Next Friday. The movie Next Friday is a 2000 movie. It's rated R and it's an hour and 38 minutes. Directed by Steve Carr. He worked on Daddy Daycare and I actually enjoyed that movie. Another movie that I liked that he did that I thought was pretty funny and enjoyable was Mall Cop. Steve Carr is the new director for this Friday movie and he was not part of the first Friday movie. Perfect, well done, still on the funny vibe, still on the cool perspective, still trying to show something a lot of people could relate to. Great second movie to follow up from the first one. It's one of those movies that you could for sure put on in the background if you're just chilling with the homies or just chilling somewhere and just have the TV on. Perfect background movie in senses of if you've seen it a lot of times. If you haven't seen it in a long time and then that movie gets brought up again, it's definitely that movie that you want to sit down, just enjoy yourself and just watch it, because this movie has a lot of funny moments. A lot of these actors in here have personalities that are very unique and funny. A lot of funny moments that are pretty relatable. This movie is following up from the first Friday movie. We're not in South Central no more. We ended up going to Rancho Cucamonga and we end up following Craig from the grimy LA vibe. Craig is going to his uncle's house, who he just won the lottery, and over there with his cousin as well. The whole environment changes. Craig ends up dealing with a whole new adventure with his cousin Day Day. They end up dealing with the neighbors who are thuggish, and it's funny because they kind of have a grudge on Day Day. Those thuggish neighbors have grudges on everyone in that neighborhood. While that's happening, Debo from the first movie escaped from prison and he has some personal beef with Craig, so he's trying to find Craig. We're seeing Craig deal with his cousin in Rancho Cucamonga, and you got these thuggish neighbors having some sort of beef, and the adventure takes off from there with them. Also within this story, we got Debo trying to find Craig, got a homie with him too, and he just escaped from prison. So that's what the movie's about. I think the whole idea from transitioning areas was just a perfect move for the second one. It didn't bring me a feel like, oh, we've seen this from the first one. I really like the idea of how Craig's dad ends up taking him to, Craig's dad's brother, Uncle Elroy. I think it was just a great idea to just move the environments. Great and awesome duo between Craig and Day Day. They're hilarious. Both had lights, funny lights. All the characters in here are golden. So going back to the characters Craig and Day Day, as soon as they both get brought onto the screen, the facial mannerisms and expressions, they delivered it straight on point. If you're a person watching someone walk out of a house, like how Day Day walked out of the house when Craig first came to the crib, I thought just small details in general made this movie funny, very funny. The lines in here are pretty funny, but I think a lot of these actors were really good in being comfortable with every role they were pushing. It felt like a family feel. There's standouts, there's more characters that are funny than others, but I feel like the level of every character in this Next Friday movie was just as equally as important. Every character who ended up getting some screen time knew what to do. There wasn't like a feel in this movie where I was like, oh, they're playing too much on a certain character. I feel like with the flow with the main character Craig and then involving Day Day, I thought it was just perfect, just adding the whole environment, and I thought it was well done. Good job with the camera direction, good job with the music. Cool to see Ice Cube in a role where I just felt like this was just home cooking. This is very easy. This is something that felt like he enjoyed coming to work every day and working on. Coming from South Central LA, that whole vibe was definitely felt. Sees so much on a daily basis, and he goes to Rancho Cucamonga, and you can just tell with the transition from LA to there, you can see in his face that he's dealing with a lot more nicer things. The whole character vibe is funny. Mike Epps, who plays Day Day, awesome role. That role is hilarious. That homie who's just naturally funny, just being like calm or serious, it just looks funny either way. Mike Epps did an amazing job playing Day Day. So many moments in this movie that I can't stop laughing. If you pay attention to these characters, a lot of these characters are relatable to people you might know. So with Day Day just doing Day Day things, it just made me laugh. Perfect character to compliment Craig. When they're in Pinky's record shop, I thought that was funny too. Pinky's a hilarious character. These characters in here are hilarious. So Day Day having a job at Pinky's was pretty funny as well. Roach, he's played by Justin Pierce. I heard that he still was able to watch the movie, so that was cool, but super sad that but he ended up passing away. Baby D and Day Day's ex, those characters were pretty funny. They did a good job on placing them in the movie for the time they had. I thought that was perfect. They didn't include them too much, but perfect timing with them. John Witherspoon is just an OG in this movie, holds it down in this movie for sure. Plays a really great dad vibe feel. He has a lot of funny moments even though he's trying to be a dad. The fact that he gets interrupted at the burrito spot, the taco stand, while he's getting his burrito was comedy. Just great performance all around. Great vibe, great lines, presentation, just well done. He knows how to do it, that vibe of what they're pursuing, and he did a great job. On point for real. Another one who was on point is actually his brother in the movie, Uncle Elroy, played by Don D.C. Curry. Man, Uncle Elroy is one of those characters that if you watch this movie so much, you would just memorize his lines, memorize how he says it. Top tier comedy. Uncle Elroy was probably one of my favorite characters in the movie just because how comedy he is. The essays, who are all brothers, is pretty funny. Joker, he's pretty funny. He's another character as well that if someone's quoting his lines, you'll be like, oh, is that Joker from Friday or Next Friday? You'd be like, yeah. That whole presentation of them for me was just straight comedy for what it was, and I did enjoy it. Glad that the sister was just the more calm, collective one in the group. A lot of things in this movie, obviously, like you just appreciate it for what it is, because a lot of these things that they do, saying here, would not be passable in today's time of watching movies. Movie right here, it was just so natural, felt good. It's a good time. You're gonna laugh. You gotta have a good sense of humor to watch this movie. Without having a good sense of humor, you're just gonna think this movie's bland. Debo, like I said, is in this movie. Debo in here, he escaped jail. He's looking for Craig. His adventure is funny, so you're following along these characters' adventures. The movie kind of flies by with so many characters' adventures being involved, but Debo had me laughing so many times. Debo ends up escaping with Tyrone, who's played by Sticky Fingers, an unexpected duo for the most unexpected reasons, but very hilarious. Tyrone made me laugh so many times. Him being sitting down in the back of Craig's dad's work truck, freaking hilarious. How you could see the facial reaction of him sitting down so long and him saying that he can't feel his legs, and Debo just straight up saying shut up. I always laugh at that scene right there. Very awesome. Uncle Elroy's girl, her name is Sugar. That was hilarious too. She was just like, oh damn, like she not playing. She a freak, low key, but it's very funny, hilarious how Uncle Elroy deals with her. It's funny how Craig, his face looks at her, but it's not like he's attracted to it, but more of like shocked. And should I be attracted to this? Michael Blackson in here, he's a customer at Pinky's, and I thought him being in here was pretty funny. Low-key, his lines are underrated for what he does in there. Pinky's chauffeur. The chauffeur did not care at all driving that limo, and you can tell that he did not care at all. It was pretty funny. Like I said, this movie, all the characters are comedy. Very happy feel movie, in my opinion. The storyline feels great. Storyline makes sense. I'm glad that the hour and 38 doesn't feel like a drag. Doesn't feel like they should have cut it a little bit more. I thought it was perfect. The rated R rating is perfect. Very cool to see Ice Cube as the main writer in here. Also, DJ Pooh got a writing credit on here too, so that was pretty cool to see that. Overall, I love watching the movie Next Friday. I like watching it with the homies because the homies can do great impersonations of a lot of these characters in here. It's always a good feel movie. They even have a dog in here. They try to involve him. I think this movie is freaking awesome, and for me, it's definitely a classic. After my watching the movie Next Friday out of 10, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10. So that's my movie review for the movie Next Friday. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.